Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? So you're doing well, and that things are good in your world. Good morning. Hello, everyone. So, hope you're doing great, and that there's goodness in your day. Hello, hello, everybody. Great to see everybody today. Hope you're doing all right. Morning, Vicky. This cold morning, although it's nice that the wind has kind of finally died down, the temperatures are still chilly. Good morning. He's doing all right. Hello, hello. All right, give it a second or two. Hey, Jane, good morning to you. Hope you're grand. There's goodness in your day. Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Hello. Hi, everyone. So, good morning, everybody. It is, let's get going this morning. It is the 20th day of February. We have 8 more days left. We are cooking along now. So it is the 20th day of February on this Thursday at 11:11. And today I want to just kind of just give you some musings today, and musings around one of my kind of favorites that came up in some of my reading, and also kind of let you in on some of the stuff that's going on. I just heard this week that I am going to be participating in what is called the International Military Pilgrimage to Lourdes. Now, Lourdes is a place in France. It is one of the greatest, probably one of the greatest healing sites in Christendom. It is in I think it's 1857, 8, 6, somewhere in there. Um, that Bernadette, who would later become Saint Bernadette, this 14-year-old schoolgirl, would see the apparition of Mary. At that point, a pool would be built. That pool is a place of incredible miraculous healing. And what happens is that once a year, this was instituted immediately after, or a couple of years after World War II, for that the American bishop to all of the chaplains within the military service would sponsor a healing pilgrimage to Lourdes. Now, Lourdes had been a healing site for many, many years, but with the war that had ravaged the European continent, this was a way for the wider Christian world to begin to heal its wounds, and the wounds of those warriors that had fought in the conflict, no matter what side of the conflict they had fought. And so pilgrims would begin to come to Lourdes for the healing of the wounds of war in 1947, and it continues on to today. That this year there'll be another pilgrimage that is being sponsored. There will actually be 40 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines from over 40 nations that will be represented in Lourdes this year, and that will go for 5 days as a way of engaging their healing, to heal the wounds of war, both personally and corporately. I am honored to be selected to go. So it's a great honor to go, not just as a pastor, but uh, um, as a former Army chaplain. I'll put a couple of links in the in our chat today if you're interested in knowing more about both Bernadette, because there's a great 1943 movie called The Song of Bernadette, which is awesome, and this and a few other things, and also a little half-hour video on what the actual pilgrimage is like and some of the pieces and parts of it. So if you're interested in all in that, there'll be some links below for you to check it out. More than anything, though, so I just got that news this week, and I wanted to share it with all of you as a way of going forward. I'm excited for that. But also in my reading, in my opportunities to of what's of kind of today, I came across one of my favorite quotes, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about Teresa of Avila. Now, so we're talking about two Catholic saints this morning. Hey, you get all kinds of things when you come here. You don't know what's going to happen. It could be anything. So Teresa of Avila was in the 16th century a one of the great high medieval mystics of the medieval world, medieval Catholic world, and she was a powerhouse in Spain. She became one of the king's favorites in terms of her depth of spirituality and her depth of connection to God. And she has this quote, which comes from one of her great works called The Interior Castle, which I think is just it's really one of the more beautiful mystical treatise on the inner life, and this idea that to move inward is to really move into a great castle, is to move into understanding of ourselves, is to move from room to room, is long before 400 years before Jung comes along and talks about the house or the psyche as if it were a house. She talks about our inner life in this way, and but she has this to say about. She has a couple of quotes we're going to talk about this morning, but this one is where I think we spend our time. And she says this: Christ has no body now on earth but yours, no hands, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes with which Christ looks out his compassion to the world. Yours are the feet with which he is to go about doing good. And yours is the hands with which he is to bless us now. This goes really to the core of a little bit of what we talked about yesterday in Hebrews, but Paul's notion that we now have become the tabernacle, the place that God dwells is in us, that Jesus dwells in us. We've been talking a lot about this in our Bible study in Acts, so if you want to catch that, you can catch that on our YouTube page too. But there's this way in which there's this depth of reality that God isn't in the building, God isn't in a place, God isn't even deeply, even though God is present in sacrament, there's this way in which the sacrament is something that we take in, and we take it in because the presence of God is with us. The Holy Spirit is upon us and within us, and that if God is going to work in the world, God has to work through us, and that doesn't leave us both. And we can do a couple things with that. One, we can think, oh God, we've got the Spirit of God with us now. We're just so awesome. We're really great, and nothing bad will happen to us, nor does it mean anything that we do is wrong. We can just move about our day because we have the Spirit, and you can see that might get us into trouble. And we can also dwell in this place where we think our will, our being is nothing. We're just We just have to do the will of the Spirit and surrender all things to God, and that we can just lay here and God will take care of it all. And you can see the problems of both of those. That this idea that we are too much nor too little, but the entry into the point of which is really through the entry into the point of humility is this entry into the point of understanding that the Spirit of God dwells with us. It dwells with you. The Spirit of God is in you. That every breath you take, every heartbeat that happens is God's heartbeat. It is God's breath. And that you have the chance, and you have the high gift to be able to work and to operate that in the world. And whether you're, listening to me wiping down the countertop in your kitchen, or whether you are, getting ready to go, go out and go shopping and get some groceries, or whether you're at work and at your desk, or whether you're in the car or listening to me, wherever you find yourself, the thing is that's where the work of Christ is. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there in the person that you're disagreeing with. It's right there in the person that you're loving. It's right there in the in your anxiety and your shortness of breath and the tightness in your chest about I don't know what's going to happen. It's right there with you, because this is the second quote from Teresa that I want to offer you this morning, which is this. She says, "Trust God that you are exactly where you are meant to be." Christ has no body now on earth but yours. No hands and no feet but yours. And trust that they have been placed exactly where you are meant to be. You're starting to see what you're starting to pick up what Teresa's laying down here. You're starting to get that Avila spirit, because there's this way in which what she is inviting us to is not to go to the mountain for some transcendent experience, but to actually understand that we stand on the mountain already, and in fact we are the mountaintop. And that if God is going to be found in this world, he's going to be found in our face. He's going to be found in our hands. He's going to be found in our laughter. He's going to be found in our joy. He's going to be found in our being. And that's where the rest of the world will find it. And that actually brings us to something that is high and good and whole and true. And here's the last piece that I want to offer you this morning, and we'll wrap up with this. Because here I am, a guy that's getting ready to go on pilgrimage. Here I am as a guy that's in May going to go off and do this thing, going to this mountaintop experience. You may say, well, you said you don't have to do that. But here's the thing. This last quote that I want to invite us to this morning from Teresa, which is this. She writes, "God is even kinder than you think." I'm going to Lourdes for many reasons, and I've been gifted this opportunity to do this. But I'm going to do this because in part of me and in part of each one of us, we misunderstand how kind God really is. We misunderstand how much God really loves us. And that sometimes we are required to get out of where we are. We are required to get out of where we are. We are required to go to the mountaintop and seek, not because that's where God dwells, but because our understanding is so limited, so small, and so broken. We need those opportunities. We struggle to remember, to trust God that we are exactly where we are meant to be, because I don't know about you, but I rarely can hold that thought for a good half hour, if not for a day. To make the central purpose of my life this notion that Christ really has no body, and that if they're hands and feet and the work of God, if God is going to be seen in this world, and God is going to be seen by me and through me, and other people are going to see God in this world, they're going to see it through me, that whole notion is actually wrapped up in this wider understanding and this wider reality that God is even kinder than we think. And so that we go to these journeys, we go to the mountaintops, we go to Lourdes to be reminded, well, to be open, to be stripped down, to leave the things away, to leave the brokenness of war behind that would tell us that there is no kindness in the world, in humanity, that man can manage to pull off to each other. Friends, I hope today you will remember that wherever you find yourself, whether it's wiping down the kitchen or driving away or in the getting ready to run errands, wherever you find yourself, you may know and remember that the body of Christ is not out there, but it dwells with you, and that you are the one for whom kindness will come into this world through. You are the one for whom compassion to the world will be brought. Yours are the feet which will go out and do good, and yours are the hands with which he will bless us now, and that you can trust that wherever you're placed, you're right where you need to be, and that God is kinder than you think. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we will pick it up next week. We're worshiping Sunday. We're talking about loving your enemies, which seems like a good segue from this. Peace and grace, friends. Snowshoeing, I love it. Peace and grace, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow, we'll pick it up next Tuesday with another 11:11.